joined today by several of my fellow citizens and Minnesota voters. We're here today on behalf of millions of Minnesotans who cast their votes this past election day. One of the fundamental rights of our society is the democratic right to vote and choose the elected officials who represent us. To do this, we rely on one very simple yet very critical constitutional right: one person, one vote. However, during the recount process for the United States Senate race that just occurred between Norm Coleman and Al Franken, a troubling situation has arisen in a number of counties that threaten that very right. It's become clear in certain counties a number of votes were counted twice during the recount. Typically, this happens when a ballot is misfed or damaged while being fed into the machine on election day, and the election officials then make a duplicate ballot to replace that damaged ballot. They also make some for absentee ballots, including some of our military personnel and overseas station personnel. When that happens, those ballots are labeled and only the duplicate ballot is supposed to be counted. However, during the recount, there were several instances where both the duplicate and original ballots were counted in some election precincts. In Minneapolis, for example, where I live, one precinct had 11 more ballots counted than voters signed in on election day. Interestingly, there were exactly 11 original ballots in that precinct that had been damaged on election day. This is a case in many other precincts across the state. In total, it's likely there are between 130 and 150 votes that may have been counted twice. Clearly, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, this is an extremely troubling pattern, and that's why we're here today. And with that introduction, I'd like to turn it over to my friend, Tony Sutton.
Thanks, Annette. Let me just be crystal clear. When even one vote is counted twice, even one vote is counted twice, that dilutes and disenfranchises the millions of other people whose votes were counted only once. It literally devalues everyone's vote. And I'm frankly outraged. My vote, your vote, the vote of the good people here could be canceled out because votes are double counted in other parts of the state. The canvassing board and local officials like Cindy Reichardt over in Minneapolis have acknowledged that there's a high likelihood that votes are double counted. The Supreme Court even pointed to the election contest as being the vehicle for resolving this process. I find it very hypocritical that the Franken campaign, at one time, pretended like double vote counting didn't exist. Now in their own lawsuit before the contest panel, says that there was some double vote counting. So obviously, votes were being counted twice. Now unfortunately, some parties haven't stepped up to the plate and aren't concerned enough to take action. But we know, what every Minnesotan knows, that everybody's vote should only count once. Nobody's vote is worth more than anyone else's vote. That's why we're announcing today this lawsuit, so that we intend to file this lawsuit with the election contest panel so that the millions of Minnesotans whose votes were only counted once won't be diluted. We are encouraging, frankly, Minnesotans to join us. People who are concerned about the issue of votes being counted more than once. We would like them to join us and be a part of this lawsuit. And that's why Michael Broadcorp will let people know how they can get better involved.
We've set up a website, nodoublecountingvotes.com, where Minnesotans can find out more about this issue, state their concerns, and join our fight to ensure every vote is treated fairly. We are encouraging Minnesotans to join our lawsuit. They can do so by visiting the website again, www.nodoublecountingvotes.com. This website will be active as of today. I will also be your point of contact for any additional questions, follow-up interviews, etc. To conclude, we believe the concept of one person, one vote is a fundamental right that must be upheld to protect the sanctity and integrity of Minnesota elections. We intend to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Give a copy.